Many know that the Book of Mormon serves as another testimony of Jesus Christ, but what you may not know is that even the story of the coming forth of the Book of Mormon echoes aspects of Christ's life, making the Book of Mormon a type of Christ itself. The Book of Mormon was first published on March 26, 1830, 194 years ago today. Book of Mormon prophets from Nephi to Moroni looked forward to this day when their record would speak unto the modern readers out of the ground, and their speech shall whisper out of the dust, as well as that the words of the Book of Mormon would be like as one crying from the dead, yea, even as one speaking out of the dust. This language is based on Isaiah 29, and these expressions project strong resurrection overtones to describe the coming forth of the Nephite record in the last days. Such Christological overtones and allusions appear to have been especially deliberate. As George Mitten has recently explained, the Book of Mormon has been brought about by the power of God through a miraculous procedure that causes it to exemplify the patterns set by the life and mission of Christ, including his burial and resurrection. Such similarities include, first, its rejection by naysayers; second, its burial and subsequent resurrection out of the ground; third, the attestation of its reality by 11 special witnesses chosen of the Lord; and fourth, with angelic assistance, the ascension to heaven of the golden plates on which the book was written, with promise of their future return. John Tivetness similarly observed several years ago that many ancient cultures would bury sacred writings occasionally on metal plates together with their dead, or occasionally by themselves, in a coffin-like box. Behind this ritual action was the belief that just as the dead will be resurrected, so too the records will come forth to future generations. In a very real way, then, the Book of Mormon could be described as a resurrected book, having been buried and miraculously brought forth unto future audiences. In light of these similarities, comparing these two miracles can provide illuminating insights for modern readers. In fact, as Joshua Gailey has recently observed, many of the evidences scholars use to defend the validity of Christ's resurrection can be used to evaluate and defend the truthfulness of the coming forth of the Book of Mormon. One such evidence is the reality of an actual empty stone box from which Jesus and the plates arose, as attested both by believers and unbelievers. In fact, before Oliver Cowdery and David Whitmer met the prophet Joseph Smith, each had experiences either seeing the empty stone box or talked with those who had. Many of these individuals that Oliver and David had dealings with were also deeply opposed to the Book of Mormon, yet still believed that there was an actual treasure worth their attention. For example, in one interview, David Whitmer recalled, "I had conversation with certain young men who said that Joseph Smith certainly had gold plates. When questioned how they knew Joseph Smith had the plates, these individuals told David, 'We saw the place in the hill that he, Joseph, took them out of, just as he described it.'" Oliver Cowdery reported similar experiences with those who felt entitled to some of the supposed riches they believed Joseph Smith had come across. As he was traveling to Harmony, Pennsylvania, he likewise encountered those who had threatened to harm Joseph Smith if he did not hand over the plates. When asked how they knew such a treasure had been found, it was later reported several asserted that they had seen the receptacle from which it had been taken by Smith. David reports having visited the hill himself, where he also saw the stone box. Summarizing an interview with Whitmer, a reporter for the Chicago Times stated that 3 times he has been down to the hill Cumorah and seen the casket that contained the tablets in seer stone, the Nephite interpreters. Eventually, the casket has been washed down to the foot of the hill, but it was to be seen when he last visited the historic place. Moreover, just as Christ's resurrection was testified of by a multitude of people, many witnesses to the golden plates of the Book of Mormon can be drawn upon to support the reality of this account. Of most prominence would, of course, be the 3 and 8 witnesses to the Book of Mormon. These two groups of witnesses together served as 11 special witnesses called to be the plates. This is not unlike the New Testament apostles, who were 11 in number following the crucifixion. Furthermore, in the New Testament, Thomas was a belated witness separated from the others, as was Martin Harris with the Book of Mormon. None of these 11 witnesses to the resurrection or the Book of Mormon ever recanted their testimonies, even when faced with bitter persecution for it. In addition, there are some who have been called unofficial witnesses to the Book of Mormon, including different women who saw or handled the plates. As Gailey observed, New Testament women represent a highly unlikely testimony source of the empty tomb. Although the world had progressed by the 1800s, sexism still remained, and many of the justifications for the exclusion of women from matters such as jury duty, the right to vote, or to own real estate echoed quotations from centuries before. While the women surrounding Joseph Smith, including his mother Lucy, his sister Catherine, his wife Emma, as well as Mary Whitmer, are dissimilar from the women at the tomb, these women do offer substantial supportive testimony about the reality of the plates. Lucy Mack Smith, Emma Smith, and Catherine Smith all hefted or handled the plates and were witness to the fact that some ancient metal plates did exist, while Mary Whitmer was one of the first, besides Joseph Smith, to be shown the plates by an angel. Other witnesses, such as Josiah Stoll, actually saw the plates as they were being moved and protected, and Josiah testified of his experience seeing the plates in a court of law. The Book of Mormon's purpose, as stated on its title page, is to the convincing of the Jew and Gentile that Jesus is the Christ, the eternal God, manifesting himself unto all nations. In addition to accomplishing this through its message carefully written by generations of Nephite prophets, this same purpose can be demonstrated even through the story of its coming forth. Because of the importance of knowing the truth of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, it makes sense that the Lord would supply the same types of circumstantial evidence for both the resurrection and also for the coming forth of the Book of Mormon as a marvelous work and a wonder. Indeed, time after time, the evidence for the Book of Mormon surpasses the standard established by historians for the resurrection. The evidences for the Book of Mormon don't stop there, though. Additional witnesses have repeatedly testified of the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon. This call to testify of the Book of Mormon is likewise extended to all members of the church, having ourselves received a testimony through the Holy Ghost. As Elder Richard G. Hinckley explained, the most important witness we can ever receive of the Book of Mormon and the resurrection is the testimony of the Holy Ghost when it speaks to our own spirit. Above all, the Book of Mormon is an especially powerful tool in gaining the witness of the Spirit for the resurrection of Jesus Christ. As Joshua Gailey observes, if the Book of Mormon is a modern miracle and inspired from heaven, then Jesus Christ is definitively alive and ascended into heaven. The truth of the Book of Mormon would overwhelmingly strengthen the veracity of New Testament proclamations. It would document a cross-continental, independent attestation of the risen Christ. The Book of Mormon holds the keys to the strongest evidence in support of Jesus Christ ever offered to mankind. As modern readers continue to treasure, cherish, and carefully ponder and study the Book of Mormon, all can especially find their testimonies of Jesus Christ and his atonement and resurrection from the dead, strengthened hand in hand, day by day. Just as the prophet Joseph Smith testified that the Book of Mormon is the most correct of any book on earth and the keystone of our religion, and a man would get nearer to God by abiding by its precepts than by any other book.